first thing you wrote with the problems that you've been told is that your back ankle doesn't roll over. And I've never, which is ankle eversion. Okay. So eversion of the ankle going this way. You're a Bauer guy, so you probably see him do it as well. I've never had that. And I immediately wanted to look at your delivery, with that kind of in my mind as far as like what maybe that might be leading to. Okay. Cause I know how that is in terms of what you're putting a lot of emphasis on in your movement prep and how you kind of move on the mound. So I'm going to get right into it. All right. For me, I've talked about this kind of over the last few years with when ankle eversion kind of became more of a mainstream topic. For me, it's a capacity thing and it's an anatomical structure per the individual. Okay. Some people have the structure and have like the workspace in their foot and their ankle to stay connected with the heel on the ground for a longer time and then evert the ankle. Whereas other people, I would call like foot rotators. I'm a foot rotator, Walker Buehler, guys that you see that like almost kind of squish the bug in the sense, right? Where their foot kind of rotates and they get up on like their toe. Whereas like the Klubers, Kershaw's, Bauers, Coles even, their foot, their heel stays on for a long time. And then as soon as the front foot's about to touch down, that's when it starts to kind of peel off slowly. Again, I think that that's more of an anatomical structure thing. Now, this is what I'm going to show you in terms of when I've seen this in the past with guys trying to stay with their heel on the ground for a long period of time. This is kind of some of the byproducts that you see. Okay. So now we're getting you into your leg lift. You got good forward momentum in the initial move, good stability of the ankle. Now I can just, again, pure speculation is what I'm seeing. It looks like you're putting a lot of emphasis on your drive leg, your drive foot holding to the ground and trying to, like what you said, roll over. And now what I see as a kind of a byproduct of that is you're not initiating the timing of your hips, the timing of your hips to rotate on time. You're late to rotate your hips, which is then going to lead you into what I would see as like a segmentation kind of breakdown where your hips aren't really that much into rotation. Your pelvis is in the best possible position as soon as you take on load with that front leg. So that's going to throw off your rotational energy capacity, right? So the amount of stretch that you get, the amount of torque you get, the amount of rotational energy you create during that drive phase up until that point of which you anchor down, hip shoulder separation, same thing. You're limited to that. And you're, like I said, with the pelvis, the positioning and the timing, the lead leg block for me is kind of just a byproduct of a lot of series of movements leading up until when the front foot anchors down. All right. So if you don't position your hips or your pelvis to the best of your ability, then it's going to affect the block. You can see that knee starts to bow out there, which again is a byproduct to me of potentially maybe thinking so much of that ankle, that foot holding to the ground, rolling over, whatever you want to call it, then you don't really get your hips to rotate at the right time, which then puts you in a suboptimal position, a suboptimal posture upon landing, which is then going to affect your the amount of rotational energy you create and your lead leg block, the amount of energy you send up the kinetic chain. So that's, for me, that's a huge thing. Again, I could be totally off in terms of what you're thinking, but look, man, I would say we're going to put a lot of emphasis on your segmentation mechanics, your hip rotation mechanics, getting your hips to rotate at a better time to put you in a better position upon landing. So if your heel comes up, right? So I would say like the timing, you're going to see a lot of this in the report too. Center point of your drive phase, right? So the drive phase is obviously descending from peak leg lift all the way up until when you touch the ground with the front foot. So at the center point of your drive phase, okay, this varies per individual. I mean, guys that have a lot of ankle eversion capacity can hold the ground a little bit longer. Guys that are more foot rotators, you're going to see the heel pop up early and it's going to start to rotate. I would always say in the middle point of your drive phase is when we want to start to initiate hip rotation. Okay, so we want to obviously load, stabilize coming down from leg lift, But then as soon as we store up energy, like let's go, right? Like let's start to transfer that. All right. So now we got to rotate. So that's a huge thing. You're going to see a lot of context and a lot of progressions for your timing of hip rotation in the report. That's going to be a huge piece, dude. Like I said, you're limiting a lot of potential rotational energy, which makes up a ton of power output in our throw. So, I mean, there's always that. You see typically, like if your long toss number at 300, pull down 91, you have 90 out of the hand and you're not getting that on the mound. That could be another thing that gets a lot better. It improves a lot when you incorporate like a lot of forward momentum or a lot of forward acceleration when you're doing a long toss or you're doing a pull down. That usually triggers your hip rotation to happen earlier. So maybe something to look into as well. All right, dudes, Robby Rowe here. Thank you for watching that video. If you're interested in booking your own mechanical analysis, you can click that link right there. Also tell you a little bit about the service and what it entails. Hit that link right there. Subscribe, please. You can also check out that video right there, which is related to the video that you just watched if you want to get some more context on that. All right, guys. Much love. God bless. Till next time. See ya.
Strike three! You're out!